Are you a business looking for a fresh new way to reach potential customers? Well, you need to get airtime on IT TV, a 24/7 streaming and on-demand TV service online and on Roku. With Roku having a potential reach of 62 million people, it's a perfect opportunity to reach potential customers through affordable commercial and infomercial spots. Visit us online today at itnetwork.tv.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for tuning in on another episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. I am your host, Sharifah Hardie, and I have an amazing show for you today. We're going to live, we're going to laugh, we're going to learn, we're going to have some fun with our guests. But before we go ahead today's silence our phone, we want you to go ahead and introduce the show to your network. There's someone in your house, in your coworker, maybe a spouse, a child, a new entrepreneur, a business owner, but there's someone who needs this information. Maybe there's someone looking for inspiration, but they won't have the information unless you go ahead and share the show with them. And as I always say, friends don't let friends miss out on the Roundtable Talk Show. So go ahead and make that post, send that tweet, send that text, but wake someone up and let them know the Roundtable Talk Show is live. So while you're doing your part, I'm going to go ahead and do my part and introduce our very first guest. Our first guest is Mr. Philip Noyed. He is an innovative multimedia artist living and working in Minneapolis, Minnesota. His artwork represents the quintessential contemporary art movement, making use of creative technology that is changing the way art is viewed today. Good morning, Philip. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm so happy to be with you today. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm happy to have you. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And what are you passionate about?
Well, I'm a multimedia artist. I do things for everything from 3D oil painting to light installations to large-scale mobiles and public art. And my newest art form is using VR to create immersive art experiences where people can literally walk through a black hole and enter into space and walk amongst the stars and planets. And what am I passionate about? My passion is bringing color and light experiences to people for them to have a really awesome and joyful experience, to elevate them from like the 3D reality of like traffic jams and grocery stores to feeling joy, wonder, and awe in art.
I love it. I love it. I love all the beauty and everything that you're surrounded by. We're going to come back to you, Philip. I definitely want to go ahead and introduce our next guest. Our next guest is Lisa. She's an international speaker, digital strategist, author, and founder of consulting agency Three Dog Right. Because of her work with companies to help them develop and share their digital messaging, she has been dubbed America's digital content futurist. Good morning, Lisa. How are
Good
you?
morning. I'm doing fantastic on this Wednesday morning, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So, again, my name is Lisa Abelinsky. I run a full service consulting agency called Three Dog Right, and we work with companies who want to accelerate revenue and take market share using digital means. And I also work with C-suite consultants who want to leverage the power of digital content to help to persuade, touch, move, and inspire. And I have several passions, but one of my passions is knowledge sharing. I am a huge proponent of sharing knowledge far and wide and making sure people have the same tools as others. As you can see, I have 2 books that I've written so far. My 3rd book will be coming out in a couple of months. And again, I'm just really excited to be here, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Okay, Lisa, I'm counting on you to share some of your knowledge during the course of today's show.
You know that's right.
I'm going to come back to you, Lisa. I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest, who is Mr. Morris Sims, host the Business of Sales podcast, consultant, coach, retired VP, and chief learning officer. After 32 years with New York Life Insurance Company, training professional salespeople and managers, running the training operation with over 200 people. Good morning, Morris. How are you?
Good morning, Sharifah. I am absolutely outstanding. Thank you so much for having us on here today. I'm really excited about this show. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. I'm excited to learn more about you. So tell us who you are, what you do, and what you're passionate about.
Sharifah, I'm having more fun right now than I have had in my entire career in all of my 65 years on this planet. It's amazing what you can do when you decide to go out and do what you truly love to do the most. And for me, that's helping other people be successful. I really am all about doing everything I can with my coachees, the people I coach and consult with, helping them reach their goals and their desires because last time I checked, that's what life's all about, is helping other people get better at what they do so that they can reach their goals and their desires to be what they want to be. And if I can do that once or twice, then I am more than reaching my goal, but I'd love to do it 100 times. So that's kind of it. My passion is doing just that. It's helping people and frankly, I love doing the podcast. It is a blast. I guess I'm a frustrated old disc jockey somewhere along the line. So I love being on the internet radio and having a really good time with my guest as well. So it's great to be on your show.
Yes, it's great to have you. Great to have you. We're going to come back to you, Morris. I just want to go ahead and introduce our next guest, and he is Marcio Santos. He helps course creators scale to six figures in 6 months without the technical overwhelm so they can focus on serving their audience and growing their sales. Good morning, Marcio. How are you?
Great. Good morning, Sharifah. Thank you so much for having me and inviting me into your circle here.
Absolutely. We want to learn more about you. Tell us who you are, what you do, and what you're passionate about.
Right. So as you said, my name is Marcio Santos. I'm the founder of Nerd Digital. And what we do here is we help course creators scale their sales to six figures in 6 months or less. And I love what I do. I get to chat with inspiring and smart course creators from around the world. And I get to coach them on how they can get really clear on their product, how they can create their funnels, and then how they can launch their course in the marketplace.
And what are you passionate about?
I'm passionate about, besides my family and my kids, I love coming to work every day. I love learning about other people's courses and trying to figure out how we can market them. That's something that for me, it's really like a game. It's something fun that I really love to do.
Okay, so we're going to use all your energy today to market a couple of people because I love marketing ideas. We're going to see how we can get it out there. I'm going to come back to you, Marcio. I just want to go ahead and introduce our next guest, Mr. Mickey Fane. Mickey co-founded and serves as president and CEO of Stone Side Blinds and Shades. Prior to Stoneside, Mickey founded and served as CEO of the Colorado CEO Forum for 15 years, growing it to over 500 attendees, while he also serving as chair for several Denver-based Vistage CEO groups. Good morning, Mickey. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me. I'm excited about the opportunity.
Absolutely. I'm excited to learn more about you. Tell us about yourself, Mickey.
Well, this is Stoneside is my third startup, although now we're about 12 years old, so it's no longer a startup. But all the companies I've started and been involved in was where I saw an opportunity that there was a business that could take advantage of a different business model and bringing technology and more contemporary management thinking to bear. The window covering industry, or the blinds and shade industry, appeared to me when I came across it, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, that it was ripe for innovation. And we founded the company 12 years ago with a partner and have grown dramatically over these last 12 years. We operate in 13 markets across the U.S. and the fastest growing window covering company in America. But it's really about, you're going to ask me about my passion, and the passion really is identifying opportunities to bring technology and innovative business practices to really transform businesses that have been around a long time, that where there's an opportunity to make a big difference and do things differently.
That's very interesting. Technology. We're going to find out a little bit more about you, Mickey. I just want to go ahead and introduce our next guest, Miss Maria Romano, True Love Knots, wedding officiant for 11 years and course creator, How to Officiate Weddings. Working with people when they complete the course, they officiate weddings with confidence and start their own business. Welcome, Maria. How are you?
I am doing great, and I am so excited for the invite and to meet not just you, but also the panelists. My gosh, what an array of abilities and passion. I am the founder of True Love Knots here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And for, as you heard Sharifah say, I have been officiating weddings. So now it's 12 years, going on over 4,000 wedding ceremonies. And I have a passion and purpose to work with men and women that are looking to add to their revenue stream, have fun, and of course, feel like they're impacting other people's lives. So I've created a course on how to officiate weddings, not just being just a minister, but a rock star minister, really stepping out of your comfort zone and finding that passion within you. So I have a digital course as well. But also, in addition, you talk about passions. I have been a widow for 10 years and I got back in the dating world and I'm in my 60s. So it wasn't easy. So I wrote a book over the pandemic, going from just one to a plus one. And it's just an easy read. It's on Amazon and it helps people get back in the dating world, especially if they're a little lost. So I have two passions: helping people earn a great income and perform weddings, and of course, getting back in the dating world.
Mhm.
Wow, we're going to learn more about you and what you have going on. One of the things and the themes that I kind of see is helping people as well as technology. I want to go back over to you, Philip, because you talked about VR and this virtual reality. And I want to know how you use technology to get your art out there.
Well, especially during COVID, everything was place. Art museums are place-based, and so you have to go someplace. And what I've been able to do with VR is to be able to create something that all of us could actually go into my art experience together. And what doesn't matter where you are, you can actually walk through the art experience together. And it's a way for people to come together and enjoy a really fun kind of like Tomorrowland on steroids experience.
Okay. Well, I want to take a look at some of your art. I want to take a look at something that you sent over. Okay, Philip, tell us what we just looked at.
Well, you can see that I do both public art installations that use new technology, like images that are placed onto light boxes, and then also mobiles that are free floating. I use innovative materials like dichroic film that allow light to pass through and light to activate a space. And I create very large scale installations that transform a public space like an airport from being kind of a stressful place to be a place of joy and wonder, and get people from looking at their phone to look up into the sky and see beautiful colors. I also create something called the Rainbow Pyramid. One of the things I'm very fascinated about as an artist is that light and sound are frequencies, and that with the Rainbow Pyramid, you go through all the different colors of the rainbow, and then you also have the sounds of the rainbow. So it's a kind of a lining experience. And one of those images you saw was in Sedona of the Rainbow Pyramid, and that was for the Demi Lovato show that aired on Peacock. And they actually went into the pyramid and were looking for UFOs. So art takes you in many different fascinating places. But what I found with VR, which were the last shots, is that it's as big as my imagination, and my imagination is pretty huge. So if you were actually to go into the Neo Art space, it would be like 100,000 square feet, 30 different experiences, and then it would be 10 stories tall with planets and stars all around you. And it was fascinating to create it, in as much as I'm in outer space without a body, creating star systems. So it's a really existential experience to be making stars and planets, and then be able to share that with the world.
Wow, wow, wow. Marcio, we got a scale. We got a scale for Philip. What we gonna do?
Yeah, no, it sounds very interesting. I think what Philip really likes to do is to provide people with this emotional experience. Like I heard him say several times, the feeling, looking up from their phones and have an experience. And I could definitely see him creating something where, like what Maria does, where she teaches somebody else how to do what she does. So I can definitely see him having a program where he teaches other people how to create their own virtual reality spaces and earn money from that. That's one side. The other side is creating an actual product that lives inside the VR world. So we're hearing about the metaverse everywhere, and I could definitely see, like, even his VR being a product in itself, where somebody would pay to enter his VR world and have pay for different experiences in there, right? So as you said, this existential experiences, these out-of-body experiences, what is something that you could offer especially now during these times, that could offer somebody this out-of-mind, this out-of-body experience where they could leave their reality for a little bit and experience something new in Philip's world?
Wow, I think that's very interesting. A lot of insight. And we're gonna go over here and we're gonna ask Morris, because Morris is the sales guru. So what are we gonna do, sales, the business of sales, for Philip?
Well, that's a great question. I think Philip's product is a wonderful thing in and of itself. So many times we in sales, you're selling something that's intangible, something you can't see or touch or feel or get excited about. Somebody once told me, don't spend money on anything that you can't drive, eat, or live in. But with Philip's piece, you can see this, you can experience it. And I think that's the real key word, is experience. We're all looking for new experiences in the world that we live in today, whether it be from reading a book or seeing a movie or going through something virtually or in person. It's having that experience, and especially having an experience with other people around you. So I think the possibilities are endless for Philip with that product. It's beautiful, first of all, and secondly, it is definitely engaging because it's something people aren't used to seeing all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's really, a great insight. One of the things that, as an artist, I have things that I have sold, but it's hard to sell a lot. And so I think that we've moved into an experience economy where people do seek out experiences and will pay for those experiences. And so that's kind of how I moved my art from selling a specific thing to actually selling an experience that people can go out and enjoy.
Philip, I have a question. If I'm in Denver, and if I wanted to experience your art, how would I go about that?
Well, I have a website called neoartspace.com, and Neo Artspace is on the Steam store, and that's a PC-based store, and people can go there and download an experience and to try it out. But eventually, it's like a feature film. Eventually, this will be out in the market and distributed to museums and different folks. And so that's what's my plan for 2022.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And actually, I have a question too for Philip. So how difficult is it, or how much time does it take to actually install one of these structures to have the VR experience?
Well, VR is a new technology, and there are, it's not that hard actually. The headsets are getting to be very simple, and there's different versions of it. So once you have the headset and the experience is available, you can do it in a matter of minutes. It's kind of like if you think of going to the Apple store or the Apple, and you're downloading a TV show. It's basically going to be that fast. My artwork, like the airport, took me about a year. So it's harder in the real world to manufacture things, do the mathematics, go through the fire marshal. In VR, I don't have to worry about physics and cost of creating something that is large scale like I would in the real world.
Because what I envision for you is kind of a physical VR combination. It could be something that's at a resort or hotel or like location like Sedona. And then it would be interesting to be able to bring that art and VR into lower income areas, schools, where kids get exposed to art and music. And there are studies that show that when kids are exposed to art and music, they tend to have higher grades, accelerate, have more creativity, and that obviously can impact them further in life. And I'm just wondering if there's a way to, have a resort or someone in hospitality or something sponsor that for an area, a lower income area, so that, again, having that continuity of experience regardless of where you live or what your social income status is.
Absolutely. And I think that, VR is just moving so rapidly. So in other words, Walmart, for instance, trains all their sales associates who use registers using VR. And what happens with VR is you're actually doing an experience. It's not just like reading a book or looking at a PowerPoint. You're actually going through an experience. Further, when you have VR in hospitals, it reduces anxiety. I've been in a hospital recently for my bonus dad, and it was just a stressful situation. But if you put on VR and you're like swimming with whales in Tahiti, you actually feel a sense of joy while you're going through what would normally be kind of a distressing situation. And training is like just a huge thing for education. You can walk through the pyramids. You can go into Leonardo da Vinci's studio, and all of a sudden these places that you would read about in books are alive and you are in them. And it really helps in the education and training aspects too. So with my piece, I'm still like the new art space. I'm just working to get it out into the public, and I'm not quite sure what the right venue will be. But
we got a team of experts, Philip. We figured it out for you. I want to go over to Maria, because one of the things that was mentioned earlier is kind of like an experience, and what you offer people is experiences as well.
It's interesting because just listening to the conversation of, talking about the art and the installations, it is an experience. And I think that's important from what I do, performing a wedding ceremony. It might be a 10-minute ceremony or 20-minute ceremony, but you really want to be able to provide the couple with something that's memorable and legendary. And that's the key thing. And when you have a passion and a purpose, but, talking about this with everybody too, is sharing your knowledge, like Lisa was talking about in the beginning. And Marcos was talking about, the course. That's why I created the digital course, is because I want to be able to share that knowledge with other people so they can go out and find their voice and do what I do. And, there are many people that get involved in my industry that go on to become public speakers, authors. So this is just a great springboard. And then, of course, who doesn't like being around love, right? Think about it. Every time I perform a wedding ceremony, I'm at the Venetian, for example, and we're doing a wedding ceremony on the gondola. So if you've been to the Venetian, and you on the interior side, there's a lot of restaurants and people are sitting about and they're eating, and they could be fighting with their partner. And all of a sudden they see the couple getting married. It changes their whole experience. And that's what it's about, the experience. You're right.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go over here and harass Marcio. Marcio, who doesn't love love?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't make friends with people that don't like love. Most of my circle is really friendly, happy, loving people, and so I'm taking a look at Maria's website right now, and it looks cool. I mean, the story that she just told me now about being at the Venetian, I've never been there, but I've seen videos and images, and this idea of doing it, like when she just told me this, officiating on a gondola, it's so unique. It's so different that I could definitely see people, one, wanting to buy that, wanting to have that experience, especially again in the context of Las Vegas, right? You go to Las Vegas already with an expectation that things are going to be special and different. And so I love how Maria's been able to tap into, marry those two things together, pun intended, the marriage and the experience that really hits that desire that target audience has in Las Vegas. So that's really cool. I wonder, Maria, do you notice that your audience skews younger or older, or do you have a lot of people that are from a wide range, like the couples? What is that like? And also with new gender rights and couples, do you find you're officiating more same-sex marriages? I'm curious about, like, how are things for you in that space right now? You're muted, Maria.
Maria, you're mute.
When I started in the industry, it was not easy to break in because most of the chapels were using male ministers. So one of the ways I broke in is I said I would also perform commitment ceremonies. So they would call me for commitment ceremonies because people would not do, at the time, there were a lot of ministers that were very traditional, and they didn't want to do same-sex marriages. So that's how I actually started. And nowadays, of course, in Las Vegas, and mostly anywhere in the world, if you officiate a wedding ceremony outside of your, let's say, religious home, and somebody comes to you and they are same gender, you have to perform the wedding ceremony. As for me, I believe love is love. And that's one of the things that I train as well with officiants, because I've had other people that didn't want to take my course because I have a specific component that teaches you the right verbiage when you are performing a same-sex ceremony. So that's one component. And then as far as the people getting married, you were asking about the ages. The range is from all over, and they meet all over. They meet online. They meet organically, and which is wonderful. And most of them have been married several times. So unfortunately, yes, divorce happens in our society, but people still want to find love again. So I hope that answers your question a bit.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
I was going to mention one thing that I picked up on, or it occurs to me that although all of us are in different businesses, most of us are talking about delivering an experience in one way or another. Certainly in the wedding business and officiating marriages, it's about creating this great experience. When Philip was talking about art, it was about creating this experience. I think on the sales training, it's about creating an experience, and that's what draws people into it. And even in our business, what I realized is we started out thinking we were selling blinds and shades, but what we found is we were really delivering an experience to our customers. And that's the number one word when somebody talks about working with us. The number one word that they use that's common across all our reviews is the word experience. So I just noticed that word coming up over and over as we were going around and talking about, even though we're all in different businesses, we're all in effect in the experience business. At least that's how what it seems to me.
Interesting point. I want to dive into that a little bit more, Mickey. But right now, we do have to stop for a brief commercial break, and we will be right back.
Great.
You need jordansrooter.com. Get free estimates, 24-hour service, special discounts for seniors and veterans. That's jordansrooter.com. Have a home repair or some remodeling you need done? No problem. We can handle all that too. Give us a call today at 800-300-0358. At Jordan's Rooter, we take pride in our work and always make sure to get the job done right the first time. That's jordansrooter.com. We want to be your Mr. Fix-It.
Are you a business owner, CEO, entrepreneur, artist, musician, celebrity, or influencer interested in more exposure for your business? Schedule your one-on-one interview with Sharifah Hardie today. We handle everything for you. We video interview you, we professionally produce your interview, and we distribute your interview. We do the work so you can focus on putting your best foot forward. If you have been looking for more ways to get your product or service in front of more people, this is the opportunity for you. Schedule your one-on-one interview with Sharifah Hardie today.
Artists are the most generous and inspiring people I know. They create, give, share, and fill our world with beauty. They compose a fascinating universe with a unique message that can transform and bring joy to anyone at any moment. Here at Art Tour International, we believe in art as a powerful tool to bring global awareness and create a positive impact on our society. That's why we love helping artists share their message.
Art Tour International is the leading voice in the art world, with over 2.1 million readers in 205 countries. Our international platform includes a high-quality print magazine, our digital publication, our weekly Art Tour International TV show. Art Tour International. Create.
Succeed.
Stay inspired.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Definitely want to stay inspired. If you are just now tuning in to the Roundtable Talk Show, you have missed the first 30 minutes of the show, and you definitely want to watch the show from the top in the archives. But I want to go back over to what Mickey was talking about, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, Mickey. But one of the things that people find is when they offer a product, how do they differentiate that product? How do they make that product into an experience? Because some people just go, hey, it's blinds. What can you do with blinds? So how do you make an experience? And what advice would you have for people who offer products to make it into an experience?
Well, yeah, that's one of our key differentiators is we recognize from the time that somebody first clicks on and goes to our website, it needs to start with an experience when they first visit a website and finding the information they're looking for, seeing visual images, being inspired just by even seeing the information on the website. Typically, a person then picks up the phone, gives us a call, and the first person they talk to, that person needs to deliver a great experience, not just answer some questions, but provide the information that the customer is looking for, create a different experience. Our customers tell us that as soon as they call us, it feels different. And we know that if it feels different from the very beginning, it's going to make a difference on everything we do. Once somebody calls us, we then schedule a designer to come into our customer's home. And so there's an opportunity, again, to deliver a different experience. And we're not going in to sell somebody something. The reason they called us is they've got a problem, or they've got a vision for their home that they'd like to fulfill, but they need some help. So our designers go in and work with that customer one-on-one to help fulfill that vision and create a solution that they're going to be inspired by every day. So we really see the business that we're in is not about, we sell blinds and shades, but we sell blinds and shades in order to deliver an experience. And it starts from the first click to a website to the final installation of an installer coming in and completing everything and showing you how it all works. We're in the experience business.
I love it. I love it.
You know, Sharifah, what Mickey just said is so very, very important. That experience doesn't have to be a big show of any kind. That experience can be just that relationship that you have with the person on the phone, the relationship you have with the person that walks in the door. That's what we're all hungry for, is that personal relationship, that even in business, a business relationship. Who do you do business with? Who do you buy things from? You buy things from people you like. If you have the choice, the opportunity. If you don't like them, you might just walk out of their store. So it really comes back down to that experience again. And that experience doesn't have to be something, big or outside of ourselves. It can be just the experience of having a 5-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute relationship with somebody. In the world of training, it's become so much more than you sit there and listen, and I'm going to teach you to, nobody wants to do that anymore, right?
Right.
to be involved and be a part of it and have some fun and be excited and leave there with something practical. That's something I'm passionate about, is being practical. Let's do something where we can change somebody's way of doing things so that it changes their lives. But it really comes back down to relationships, even personal relationships.
Yeah, Morris, if I can add into that, that's so important, especially now where we have I don't want to use the term new normal, because it's not normal. It's a crazy pandemic with something we never thought was going to happen in our lifetime, and we don't know what's coming next. We now have a labor shortage, and we have supply shortages, and we have all sorts of shortages. And that experience, that solving of a person's issue versus just trying to sell, I think is what is really key. And, back before the pandemic, if you can go that far back and remember that time, that was spring in the Serengeti, right? There was an abundance of water and snowing, and everyone was happy, and they could have transactional relationships. I give you something, you give me something back. Very easy. And then summer came and the waters dried up, and people, there was not enough food, and that transactional interaction doesn't work anymore. And I think that is one of the things that is going to carry, even as we exit this pandemic and move forward, the idea of solving. If a company can look at that, persuade with a digital story. Sorry, I flipped around. And actually looking at listening to what our audience needs, and then trying to help them get from where they are now to where they want to go, regardless of whether they work with us. If we focus on solving, that is a differentiator, and that brings that trust into the relationship for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I gotta say, I love the posters behind Lisa's picture there. It's just wonderful. I got to get a poster for my book. Well, my book. and have that back there too. Lisa, I really do. I love it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I wish this was just all me. And again, this whole idea of being on camera and being live. And if you saw my setup, and it's actually going to get worse, I'm actually working with Patrick McGowan with Punch It. Fantastic videographer, helping you put your best video experience forward. Fantastic guy, and just so knowledgeable. And again, helping you solve. I have a black magic. I have a mic. I have my external camera set up. I have lights. Like, it's a little bananas, but this is where we're at now, where, how, again, what kind of experience am I bringing to this podcast with my video interaction? What's behind me? How does my sound? How is my lighting? How is the camera? Am I in sync with what I'm saying and my video, which is why I have this whole thing on this side. And it's that idea of that experience. Even though we're virtual, our audience is still experiencing us in a very visceral way.
Absolutely.
There's
Marcia.
two key things I heard. One, Lisa, you mentioned a couple of times listening, and how important that just slowing down. You can't solve a problem unless you slow down and listen. And I think Morris mentioned that also. And I know I'm a big fan of sales and sales training and good sales training. And what I've experienced anyway is that the number one secret is shut up and listen. And you can't solve anybody's problem if you don't slow down and just take the time to listen. And if you listen to somebody, you deliver a dramatic different experience than most people have every day, because most people don't get listened to.
You have to know what the problem is to be able to solve the problem. And you're never going to figure out what that problem is unless you listen to them and ask the right questions. The old adage, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You should do twice as much as you do talking. I forget that most of the time. But the fact is, man, you're right on target. if we're more about listening to what the problem is, and then Lisa, you're right, trying to solve that problem. I have a friend of mine who sells life insurance. He doesn't talk about how many sales he makes. He talks about how many problems he's solved. When he comes back into his office after being on calls all day, his staff doesn't say, "Did you make a sale?" They say, "Did you solve a problem?" Because that's really what it's all about.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maria, you solve problems, and I'm sure in marriages, people need to shut up and listen.
Well, it's interesting because what everybody is talking about, I have a talk, about falling in love, actually, loving your way to the top. And there's an excerpt that I use that everybody's Morris is talking about, and Lisa, about listening and falling in love with your clients. So when, people don't buy from you when they understand you or your product, people buy from you when they feel you understand them. And it's emotion. And it just boils down to the same thing. And in relationships, absolutely. Sometimes we turn off our hearing aids with our partner. And that's why we have some problems. So we need to sometimes, turn those hearing aids up, listen to that partner, and understand what the other person's saying. It's almost like mediating.
Right.
Yeah, listening to understand versus listening to respond.
Yes.
That's and that again, that's not me. I read that somewhere like yesterday. I will not take credit for that, even though that sounds awesome.
Take credit for it, Lisa. You're right on time. It's research. You did a great job.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Marcio, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking over there?
Oh, I'm loving the discussion. I think what Nikki started to bring up there was this idea of is a few things, right? So one is being service oriented, which he brought up. He also brought up with Morris the point that as people we want this personal relationship with people. We want to interact with people, and the way we do that is through story. And what Morris has done really well is I've noticed him do this is he's bringing up these stories like, oh, this happened to me, or this, I have a friend of mine. And when you bring these stories and you package the information in a story, it helps people connect with it, because that's how we evolved. And we evolved by just having small little groups like this, right? We're having these conversations, and as soon as you can share a story and the information is packaged in that story and we can capture that, I'm sure Lisa can talk, so she's blue in the face about this, about the effectiveness of that. That then leads to trust, which is what Mickey and Morris have mentioned as well. So I'm completely just nodding away here, and I agree, and I'm happy to know that everybody here on the call is executing on that level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Marcio, that's so true. If you think about how content is given to you, right? Whether it's a podcast or a video or a blog post or even a tweet, if it's in story mode, it becomes relatable. If you think about when we were young and we were read stories when we went to sleep, and if I say to you once upon a time, okay, this is going to be a fairy tale, I'm ready for it. And because of that, and then as we moved into watching television and watching movies, they're all stories. And because of that, people are hardwired for stories. I'm going to say that again. People are hardwired for stories. And with that, when you share your story, it's important because your story actually matters. People want to hear your story because it is something that's relatable and it makes the engagement human. It humanizes what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Morris, I'd love to hear your thoughts on stories.
It is who we are. Our story is what other people are going to buy into and relate to. I want to know your story, Sharifah. I mean, when you invited me, I went immediately to your websites and started to research your stories and see what your story is. I happened to be on a thing with Tony Robbins yesterday, and he spent a lot of time talking about what's your story and how is your story relatable to other people, and can you change your story to be what you want it to be? And the answer is yes, you can. And stories are fun. I mean, I love to tell the story of being a college graduate from Auburn University and going out to become a chemical engineer. And I did that for 5 years, and I decided that you know, I love engineers, but they're just not a lot of fun. I wanted to do something that was fun. So I said, the heck with this. And I went off to decide to go sell life insurance, which was fun. And yeah, that usually gets a big laugh. The fact is, it was fun. I spent 30 some odd years training other people to sell, and still do it today. That's my passion, is helping people in that world of sales. But it all really still comes back down to telling stories. It really, really does, because that's what Lisa's right. That's what we relate to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Philip, how you doing over there?
I'm doing very well. I'm really enjoying the conversation. I think that, with Lisa, like, it used to be that copy was just like something that you would have as like an isolated little element. But what I like is that there's a strategy, like the content strategy, and it also looks at differentiation and relevance to different audiences. And then I think that with this whole idea of storytelling, like each person here, like Lisa and Maria with her book, on Plus One, people are distilling their knowledge and then kind of gifting that to the world. And I think that that's really a powerful thing.
Using stories.
And Philip, your art also tells a story, which is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're a storyteller too. Yay.
Everybody gets to tell a story. Now,
one of my favorite quotes is, your own self-realization is the greatest service that you can give the world. And so, I think that sometimes people are shy or kind of like self-judging or whatever. But I think that, being able to get your story out there and be able to share that, and then, you're actually bringing a difference to the world by doing so.
Philip, I love what you just said. That's because that's, again, I keep looking at what ties us all together. That your own self-actualization is the greatest gift you can give the world, and I think that's maybe a common thread with everybody on the podcast, including Sharifah, that we've all found a place that we can express ourselves and express ourselves authentically. And just by doing that in whatever business we choose, or whether it's VR or content or marriages or whatever, that's what's allowing us to all be successful. And it's our gift to the world. It's just being the authentic humans that we are, and bringing that to the rest of the world.
Yes, I definitely agree. I want to go over to Maria for a minute, because we start talking about stories, and you said you've officiated thousands of weddings. Like, can you take a look at a couple and go, okay, I know how this story ends?
I mean, listen, I have officiated weddings where I feel the groom has rented a bride. I mean, that I will say. And I just, you have no comment on that one. And that's okay. No, hey, somebody comes on their own free will, and that's the key thing. But there was one wedding that I performed actually 2 years ago, and it was on Valentine's Day. And there was this couple that actually met. He was the teacher to his bride. They were both blind, and he was teaching her Braille. And I remember when I saw the couple, I was watching the coordinator. She was actually guiding the groom in, and I couldn't understand. And then when I walked in, she told me, Maria, they're blind, so we're going to be. She escorted the bride down. The groom was there. They actually had their phones in front of them, and I'm not too sure what it was on the phone, but the way they were able to read the Braille with their fingers, they actually had their own vows that they had written. And here was a couple that was together for about 8 years. She became blind later on in life. And I thought that was interesting on how they just loved each other. And that was really, when you think about it, you hear about love is blind, love at first sight. That was so powerful.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they lived happily ever after.
Well,
who knows?
You know what? Listen, I just think it's wonderful how people can come together in so many different ways and find love. And I always tell somebody that's looking for love, don't rush the process. It should be slow. And you're one relationship away sometimes from your life changing forever. So give it a chance.
Oh, even your voice has that love in it. It just rings. Just love. That is so beautiful. This has been an incredible show. I've had a lot of fun. We laughed, we learned. Now we are coming down to the last few minutes of the show. And what I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who is watching this show live, as well as everyone who is watching in the archives, and let them know what you want them to take away from your appearance here today. And we're going to start with you, Lisa.
Oh, yay. So yippee. So thank you for having me on. I'm like, yay, I get to go first. That makes me happy. One thing I will offer up, I'm having a free, and this is for anyone listening, all the guests, it's a free virtual summit next Wednesday, February 2nd. I will put the link into the chat box. It is a 2-hour summit. I'll be talking about leveraging digital content, what's going on. And then I have a group of amazing panelists that will be coming together. And we're going to be talking about what has kind of transpired over this last year and what our predictions are for digital marketing and digital engagement for 2022. So there is going to be so much information that you're going to get out of this virtual summit. So I'll make sure I add that to the chat box. And if there's one thing I can ask the audience to walk away from this and to apply every day is tell your story, share your story, because your story will touch, move, and inspire those around you.
Absolutely. Definitely agree. Thank you, Lisa. Mickey, what do you have for the people?
Well, I two things. One, just as for those people interested in blinds and shades and what we do, if you are looking at redecorating your home or improving some of the windows and stuff in your home and would like to learn more about what we can do, you can find us at stoneside.com. And there's lots of information on the website, and we'd be happy to come out and do a free consultation and show you how we can transform your home. But maybe more, the more significant thing I'd love to share, just for business owners or even people looking to find the passion, their passion in life. I love where our conversation went today, and I just encourage everybody to really seek that passion, do what you love, be authentic, give your authentic self to the world. And I love what one of our panelists said, that's the greatest gift that you can give. If I can be of any assistance to you, don't hesitate to reach out to me. It's mickey.fain@stoneside.com. And I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show.
Absolutely. I enjoy meeting you. Marcio, what do you want the people to take away from your appearance?
Thank you again for having me, Sharif. It was awesome. And the group of people that you brought together today were beautiful. So if you need help launching your course, if you have a course, if you're curious about how much money you can make with your course, head over to nerddigital.com/Sharifah, and I'll have a free gift there for you. I've worked with lots of great people helping them create their courses, launch their courses, like He from Rad Reads. He's the creator of Supercharge Your Productivity. With Ted Seides from Capital Allocators, Robert Crabtree from Performative Speaking. And the experience is always so much fun. People have these ideas about their courses and they're unsure. And I love being in the trenches with them to figure out, how to better market their course, how to build the technology for that, and then how to launch that and put that in front of the right people. So if that's something that you're interested in, head over to nerddigital.com and /Sharifah, and you can get a free gift there for today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marcio. Want to go over to Morris. What do you have for people today?
Well, I guess, Sharifah, the most important part of what I do and who I am is I want to help people grow their business, particularly salespeople. We're all in sales. You may be the CEO of a big company, but by George, you're still in sales. And I'd like to help professional salespeople grow their business. And for new professional salespeople, learn how to handle business, because you can be a great salesperson, but if you don't know how to run your business, you can be in deep trouble. So right now it's the first of the year. Everybody has a business plan for 2022. My question to the world is, where is that plan? Is it going to sit on your shelf, or are you going to be able to execute it? So I'm doing virtual classroom sessions now on how to execute your plan, how to build a plan if you need to go there, but then how to execute that plan and make sure that you hold yourself accountable to doing the things that you know you need to do. We've all got to answer 5 very critical business questions to be able to run a successful business. And those are, what do you want? Why do you want it? Probably the most important question. How are you going to get to whatever it is you want? And then what is your strategic action plan, your administration plan, and how you're going to execute and implement? So those are the kind of things that I particularly like to help people with. And I do that with coaching, consulting, and speaking, and a digital course is coming out. So that's kind of where we're going from there. So www.morrissims.com. I don't understand the internet completely, but sometimes it takes the www and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't know. MorrisSims.com. Please give us a shot, and we'd love to hear from you. I'm at morris@morrissims.com.
Love it. You got that podcast radio voice, Morris. Keep the people awake. Maria, what do you have for us?
Well, first, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be an invited guest on your platform. So thank you again for that. But, if you're an individual out there and you maybe have burnout, you're part of the Great Resignation, and you want to find that fire in your belly, head over maybe and look at my course. I'm trueloveknots.com. I have a digital course. One, you can do it on your own, or one you can actually train with me. Because, my passion and purpose is to help you do the things you want to do, have the extra income, spend time with the people you love, but make an impact in other people's lives. I think that is just so important today, that I think a lot of people today they have this mindset that they're not going to go back to their traditional 9-to-5 job. They want to have multiple streams of income, and they want to also get out. They want to step out of their comfort zone. So this might be something for you, for the listener out there. But also, too, if you're getting married and you just want to send me a question, you want to know something about a certain type of ceremony, I'm available for you. I also, in the chat box, I put in a discount code that is particularly we made for this show, a 25% off of my digital course. So for those that are interested. And if you're looking to find love again, send me a message as well. Be more than happy to get you in the right direction. Because my message and motto is that you need to continue to spread love, and that's what's important.
I love it. Thank you, Maria. Appreciate you. Philip, what did you think of today's show?
I thought it was awesome, and it was an honor and a privilege to be on this show with you and this great panel. I appreciated everything I was able to learn today. I am an artist, and neoartspace.com is where you can check out my VR experience. There's a video of it there and more information on it. You can also go to my website, which is philipnoya.com, to see all different range of art that I create. I'm available to do commissions or to help people understand more what they can do with VR. Just have to reach out to me with any of those websites. You can contact me. I'm also on all the different social platforms. And I think the takeaway for me is that I'd like to share is I think that art is an essential service, and that it really is a healing aspect of life, whether you're a creator or you are sharing it with people. And I just encourage people to, find their passion and share it with the world. It'll make the world a better place. Thank you.
You are so welcome. I think that's what we all want, is to make this world a better place. I want to thank you all for being guests on today's episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. And I especially want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch this show live, as well as everyone who is watching in the archives. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you sharing. But as always, the most important thing to me is that you support our guests. Our guests are here this morning to share their expertise, their strategies, their stories with you. So please support them. Pick up a couple of copies of their book. Try a course, start a course, download an offer, but support our guests. Visit their websites, follow them on social media, reach out to them, send them a message. And when you do, please let them know Sharifah Hardie says hi. Now, if you're interested in more ways that I can help your business, or maybe you want to be a guest on the Roundtable Talk Show, please visit my website at AskSharifah.com. Until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, everyone have a safe and a blessed day.